Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. Children, in the previous class we tried to understand about the Indian national movement, and now we are going to start a new unit, the making of the Indian Constitution. Already in class 8th you have studied about the important features, outstanding features of the Indian Constitution. You have little knowledge regarding the Indian Constitution. When did this Indian Constitution has come into enforcement, children? It was on January 26th. We celebrate it as a Republic Day. So this Constitution making background we shall see today. Before the making of the Constitution, what proceedings were held and how a committee was compiled in order to draft a Constitution, we shall understand in today's class. Coming to the series of events which occurred during the making of the Constitution, there was a turn of events and political aspirations during the last few years of the British rule, and that shaped the Constitution. After 1936, Gandhiji did not take much interest in politics. Mostly he confined to ashramam, that was the ashramam which is located in Gujarat, Sabarmati ashramam. He was taking rest there. He did not participate that actively in politics. However, he was guiding events, even though he did not participate actively, but he was guiding the political events. And electoral politics began in 1936-37, that lasted with 1946 provincial elections in which the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected. It was in the 1946 elections that the Constituent Assembly members were elected. The same members, these members have written the Constitution. The Congress remained a predominant political party standing for the unified Indian nationalism encompassing all social segments, and it made huge strides even in the electoral politics, also winning majority of the seats in two elections, in 1936 elections as well as in 1946 elections. It made a great strides in order to remain it as a united. India is a country where different sections of people have different interests, but these all people have voted for a single party, that is Congress. This period is also significant because during the elections, religious nationalism also has become. That means Muslim League started asking votes in the name of religion and Hinduism. So this was born little earlier but strengthened as a political force even. Muslim League taking up the issue of Muslims has become very strong, and on the basis of the religion, elections started making more forceful. Both Hindu Mahasabha and Muslim League contested the elections and propagated the religious ideas as politics and ideology. The third stream, peasant nationalism, was also there, that is the farmers, has grown as main opposition to the Britishers and the princes under the Communist Party. So even Communist Party also was very strong in some of the areas. The fourth one was emanated from the self-respect of women, that is movement of Ramaswamy Naikar in Tamil region, and non-Brahmin party of Bhaskar Rao Jadev in Maharashtra. These people also were very strong leaders in their region, and their contribution was also very much applauded in the making of the Indian Constitution. For that reason, we need to mention their names. I mentioned two names, children. One is Ramaswamy in Tamil Nadu, the other one is Bhaskar Rao Jadev in Maharashtra. And they have developed. Then All India depressed class movement developed and strengthened by B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also we should remember in the background of the making of the Indian Constitution. In this backdrop, the Hindu leader B.S. Munje made friendly association with the outcast leaders. In February 1932, what is known as Rajaya or Munje Pact was signed in support of the joint electorate between the Hindus. So, and finally, on the pressures of the British functionaries or British officials, including the then Viceroy in the sense Wavell, Ambedkar signed the Pune Pact with Gandhiji in 1932. The depressed classes issue thus became part of the national agenda also. Even Ambedkar tried to sign a pact with Gandhiji to bring the depressed classes issue as a national agenda. So it was a nation's concern also, the depressed classes in the sense the scheduled caste, okay, the lower caste people. And this became, the depressed classes became the part of the national politics now. The depressed classes leaders agenda came to the prominence on the national political agenda, and many such organizations were also born, have taken birth in places like Punjab and Bengal. And the temple entry movements, until then the lower caste people were not allowed to enter into the temples. So after this, even allowing them into the temple, that movement was also adopted. In this scenario, the untouchable residential quarters as part of the national movement was also adopted. Visiting them, the untouchables were generally put away from the village. So revisiting those quarters was also adopted in the national movement. So in this scenario, national movement was not meant just the independence from the British, but integration of the lower orders of the people of the society into the national politics. That was a great achievement by the national movement. So Ambedkar, in this new spirit, started a new party called as the All India Scheduled Caste Federation in 1942, and M.C. Rajaya, who was very close to Gandhiji, disappointed with the Congress governments, joined the Federation of Ambedkar. And it was Sarath Chandra Bose, the brother of Subhash Chandra Bose, supported this movement also. Even the Subhash Chandra Bose brother is there, Sharath Chandra Bose, he also joined this All India Scheduled Caste Federation. And thus, that indicates that caste question assumed importance in Ambedkar in the supported this movement, and it also indicated that the caste question has increased its prominence in the national movement. Ambedkar was considered to be the leader of depressed classes and of a national stature, of a national level. Ambedkar became a sole representative of the scheduled caste, and that has become an issue on par with the Muslims question. The British government and its officials also recognized Ambedkar as a legitimate representative of the scheduled caste and the caste question in India. So, in special scheduled caste political conference held in Allahabad in December 1942, Ambedkar declared that India was not a nation but constellation of nations. That means a combination of nations, warning the British and the Congress that the scheduled castes would have their specific identity even in the new country. Ambedkar thus learnt that to communicate with the top dominant nationalist leadership of the country without sacrificing his intended politics even. So that was a great change which occurred in the Indian politics, that scheduled castes and the caste questioning has become most prominent. In this debate in 1943, the Secretary of State for India opined that Ambedkar emerged as a national leader for the scheduled caste, and he has the right and only representative of the depressed classes, that is the scheduled caste. In November 1944, a non-party conference was held in Tej Bahadur Sapru to discuss the basis of the future of the Indian Constitution, and it had invited even Ambedkar also to discuss about the Indian Constitution. If India gets freedom, how the Constitution should be. So in that discussion, even Ambedkar was also invited, and he sent a representative to be on the subcommittee on par with the other parties. So further in 1945, what has happened we shall see in the next class, children. Until then, take care.